Hello, everyone. We are in Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. We're in chapter 11, and we're picking up at verse 16. Now, the Apostle Paul has been dealing with questions of his authority throughout this entire letter. And the quick backstory to help you recall is that teachers have come into Corinth, and as they've taken control of the church there, they have called to question whether or not the church should be paying any attention to anything that Paul has ever said to them. Now, Paul's responded to all of that, but now as we get into this chapter, the apostle begins to question the Corinthians on how it is they judge respect for others. This is what he says at verse 19. After all, you think you are so wise, but you enjoy putting up with fools. You put up with it when someone enslaves you, takes everything you have, takes advantage of you, takes control of everything, and slaps you in the face. I am ashamed to say that we have been too weak to do that. The Apostle Paul is pointing out that these other teachers have come in and immediately demanded authority, immediately demanded that they get the best room in whatever house, and that they be showered upon with respect. They've demanded it from them. Many of you know that I worked for the military for most of my professional life, which means that I spent a lot of time under the authority of commanding officers. Most of them happen to be colonels. And there are varying kinds of leadership styles, but the Apostle Paul is talking about two that I've seen a whole lot. One is the kind of colonel that walks into a room and immediately wants you to know that he is the commanding officer. He usually sends somebody in ahead so that when he walks into the room, they can shout something out like, "Colonel in the room," or something to that effect, and everybody starts jumping up and jumping through hoops. And they usually get aggressive with people and start barking orders. And by the end of their 3-year tenure with the organization, they will have gotten a lot of things done. But man, oh man, they would have left a wake of carnage behind them in times. But there were other colonels that operated differently. They somehow found a way to earn the respect of their people. I'm thinking in particular of one colonel. His name was Colonel Gibbs. He was a very, very mild-mannered man. And he would walk into a room, and at times, if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't even notice him. But over the course of his time with the organization I was a part of, he made it a point to meet with each and every one of his employees, and that was over 400 of us. And when I say that he met with us, he'd come into our cubicle or our office, he would sit down and spend a solid 20 to 30 minutes talking about our lives, asking about our hopes and dreams, our families. Later on in his command, when he walked into a room, there was nobody in that room that did not notice him because they respected him and cared for him. He had earned that respect. The Apostle Paul is saying that that's how this is supposed to roll for us. We're supposed to earn respect by the things that we do. Paul then goes on to say that, I guess, as not humble as this sounds, I need to remind you of the things that I have done to show my commitment to the gospel. He's not happy about it, and he gives this list of things that he's experienced and endured. And that is his credibility, and the truth is the Corinthians kind of already knew it. By way of another example, there was a missionary by the name of Adrian Judson. He was a missionary from the United States to the country of Burma. It was a very, very famous missionary while there. And one of the things that happened to him is as he was trying to go into a new region, he didn't want to be arrested for being there. So he spoke to the regional king and asked permission to go minister to this one area. The king looked at him carefully and said, "You know what? If you were any of the other run-of-the-mill missionaries that's come through here, I would give you permission because I don't believe my people are foolish enough to pay any attention to this Jesus Christ stuff. But I am not willing to let you go because of your hands." You see, Judson would go into a community, and the first thing he would do is start working alongside the community members. If they were building things, he'd start building. If they were farming, he'd start farming. He established a relationship with them first, and the result was he had thick, calloused, scarred, hard-working hands. The king saw that and said, "My people will see those hands, and you will have instant credibility. They'll end up listening to you, and I'm not willing to let you go." That is the way it should be for us. We should earn the respect of others by living the life that Christ has called us to live. The way of Christ is a life of servitude and humility. And yes, compared to those who storm into a room and demand respect, it will appear weak. But in truth, it is much more powerful. Here's how Paul wraps up the whole discussion. He says, if I must boast, I would rather boast about the things that show how weak I am. God the Father of our Lord Jesus, who is worthy of eternal praise, knows I'm not lying. We should be celebrating Jesus, and we can celebrate him by living humble lives. As we seek to share our lives with others, we should be pulling a page out of this book, and specifically this page where Paul is saying to us, we earn credibility by serving others. We say, make a friend, be a friend, and then we bring that friend to Christ. And the truth is, if we've just lived the way of Jesus, then our lives have already been a testimony to our belief and commitment in Jesus Christ. People will see that, and that's what attracts them to us. And so we should go out to seek to serve others. That's my call to you, and my advice is that if you've got neighbors, go out there and serve them. Be a friend to them. And then, when God gives the opportunity, you'll be able to share the good news. And that will have already transformed their life. Have a great day, everyone. If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.